Hi, I'm Jen.
My name is Arlene.
Welcome to The Hive. Oh my gosh, guys, so excited today. We have a completely awesome guest. His name is Taylor. He's here to talk about a loving project that he is starting up, and you guys want to hear all about it. How's it going, Taylor?
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Awesome, welcome.
So talk to us about what your project is all about.
So the project is called the One Humanity Project. It was originally started by my great friend Lincoln Oliver, who's based in California, and that's where the project really started from. We came together and put this movement together. It's really a movement where we just really want to have human beings, persons around the world, really see themselves exactly that, as human beings, one race. So despite your cultural background, despite your race, at the end of the day, we're all just one human being, one race.
So why decide to do this project now?
Well, in light of the issues that we see happening around the world, the racial issues that we see, especially in the United States and to an extent here in Canada, we decided that we want to raise further awareness on this issue and to tackle it with a different approach, using the hats as a fashion, which really what we want to do is to send that strong message across, which is that we're, at the end of the day, we're just all one human being. We're just all one human race.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that because it's like sometimes, I mean, we all wear different brands, right? And every brand stands for something different. But just wearing this, I feel like if I ever saw anyone, when I see someone else wearing one, I'll be like, hey, you totally believe in this like whole one love movement. We already have that in common.
Mm-hmm.
So just by that alone, it already brings people together, which is pretty cool.
That's
Right.
cool. And for those of you guys that don't see what's on it, can you talk to us about the words on the hat?
So it says one race, one blood, one humanity, because that's exactly what we are. We are one humanity. We are all, despite the different blood types that we all have, whether it's type A or type O, at the end of the day, we bleed the same blood. And we're pretty much just the same. We're human beings.
Right.
So despite the differences in looks, cultural practices and so forth, at the end of the day, we are really just one race, one blood, one humanity.
Can you imagine the day when when everybody thinks that?
I would love to see that. I want to see it in my lifetime. I think that, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now,
yeah.
sometimes it seems kind of unreachable, but at the same time, on the other side of the coin, I feel like a lot of people are tired of everything that's
sure.
going on and kind of thinking like, no, if we don't come together, then, I mean, we're just kind of killing each other,
Right.
you know, and we should do the opposite and love each other.
Even the whole thing of when you said one blood, it made me think of how blood banks.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who donated it, but you're right. We all have, the same blood. We're all humans. We all live the same way. We all need certain things to live.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Well, we were talking about the burning building example earlier, which I thought was really cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So we don't want, when things come to a state of emergency, that is when we realize that we're all one. For the example that we were talking about, as you mentioned, if we are all in a burning building, if a Muslim gives his hand to a black person or a white person, no one's going to refuse the help, because in that time there's a dire need to save your life. So we want to erase that, where when it comes down to just a state of emergency, that's when we come together and always just realize that, hey, we're really one. We want that to be an everyday thing, to just break down the different barriers that are stopping us from living in such a manner.
Do you find that it's not only within other races, other cultures, but within one culture itself? Do you find that
Like intercultural
Yeah.
racism almost?
Yeah, because I love being Filipino, and I experienced that, with being in Canada, there's so many cultures, but also in the Philippines, we can experience that even though we're all Filipino. I don't know what your experience is.
Yeah, most definitely. It's deeper than just one race against the other race, right? The problem lies within a particular group themselves, like a particular race themselves, where they do have what is called shadism or certain preferences within that same group. And it goes back to the point where it is my strong opinion that racism is, you're not born a racist, you were somehow socialized to become racist, whether it was done through your parents or done through your culture or even through the media itself. So it's not just like one race against it, it lies just within the races themselves.
Cool.
So I think having discussed all this, we've come up with some ways that maybe we can come together. A top 6 list of ways to come together, if you will.
Top 6.
Top 6. So the first one, food,
I totally agree.
right?
I mean, okay, not even for like bring together people together, but bring people to like to do something. When you say there's free food, people are going to show up.
Yeah, totally. And I think tasting someone else's food, like from their culture, kind of, you either start to find similarities
Oh yeah.
or you see how different it is and you're like, oh my God, I like this. Like it's opened your eyes to something else.
Right.
And then it gives you common ground with someone else as well.
Yeah.
You know,
for
you
sure.
meet someone of a certain culture and it's like, yeah, man, I totally love your food. Like, thanks to your people.
Yeah, like,
You
oh
know?
wow, you guys use plantains too? Or like, wow, you
Yeah.
guys use like okra? Or yeah, it's like, for me, growing up, it's like you only see that at home.
Yeah.
And then when you see it in other people's dishes, it's like, oh, that's how I am.
It makes you feel like community
Yeah.
and together. Another one is music. Music totally brings people together, period. But different types of music, like when you look around the crowd, you'll always just kind of see like all these different types of people from all walks of life, all brought together by the same thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like there's, in Asia, I know like they all know all these English songs, but they don't speak English,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's because music transcends boundaries, right? When you look at even from Jamaica, Bob Marley. Bob Marley is known worldwide, has become a household name, and that's because his music has touched the hearts of many, because it has a strong message, and it's not about, it's not about the messenger, it's about the message. So that's one thing that really helps.
Okay, and the third reason is travel. I think that people can tell you a lot of different things about places or tell you a lot of things about different groups of people.
Right.
But when you go to a different place and actually experience it for yourself, I think sometimes people just have prejudices because they don't know or they lack knowledge. So then when you kind of educate yourself about someone else's culture, it brings you closer to it. You kind of understand it, right?
Definitely agree with that one, because like people, I've always said that people, once they can, they should travel more, because it opens your eyes to different cultures, different, people are all around the world, and you get to appreciate what they have to offer, as opposed to just being at home, just being limited to what the internet has to offer, what the media has to offer. But you get to travel and appreciate what other cultures are like out there. So
Sure, yeah.
I definitely endorse that one.
To be right in it.
Yeah, I like that. Our fourth one is question your beliefs. Taylor, you had mentioned that sometimes, we're not born with hateful beliefs, that they're taught through whatever medium. So it's almost like questioning your beliefs and being like, wait a minute, is this really rational, what I'm thinking or what I've learned, right? So that kind of helps change the thinking process a little bit, and you're not limited just to what you were taught. You have a mind of your own and you can think for yourself.
Most definitely. You can respectfully question your beliefs. Not everything that you were taught means that it's necessarily that's the way it's supposed to be, despite who you learned it from, whether it may be your parent, your parents rather, your grandparent, or just persons who you look up to in society. But more so, just ask yourself, like, is it right? Is it right for me to judge this person? Is it right for me to condemn a certain group? Because that's not the way how I was taught for things to be done or things to be seen. And with that in mind, if you start to do that, then it really helps pretty much in just us coming together and really respecting each other as who we are.
The fifth one, I think this one's pretty simple, is just respect, right? Going back to that simple rule of treat others how you want to be treated. If we just give everybody equal respect, then that already takes any kind of discrimination, racism, sexism right off the table.
That's true.
And the last and final sixth reason is to be open. We have to be open.
For sure, yeah. I think respect and openness goes hand in hand for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you know, you respecting the different cultures by being open to, like, you know, if you're in a group setting and like someone brings food that, you know, you haven't seen yet. I love food. But it's food that you're like, you would never imagine eating.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example, but then when you taste it, you know, you're open, you respect them because you know, they brought it, you don't want to be rude, and yeah, so I think they go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. I actually feel like my conversations with both of you and talking about like how we've grown up and how we were raised and different foods we eat, I always feel some kind of connection, even though like you grew up in Jamaica, you grew up here in a Filipino household, and I grew up here in a Portuguese household. So all so different, but you can still always find commonalities.
For sure, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cool. Well,
Awesome.
this has been awesome.
It
Thank you
has
so much,
been.
Taylor, for being here
Thanks
with
for
us.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
Where can we find your hats? How can we find out more?
You can find us on Instagram. It's called the One Humanity Project. And that's where you'll get more information about the different hats that we have. Again, this is our signature hat. We have the Golden Heart edition that is coming out soon. So, yeah.
I want to get one of the Golden Heart editions because it's one of my favorite shades of green ever.
What?
The Golden Heart edition, it's a green hat.
Oh, I'm thinking it's golden. That's why I'm like, I don't understand.
It's pretty much the hat is, the shade is green with more like a goldish writing on it, and it has different message on it too.
Are you allowed to tell us or what the message will be, or is it a surprise?
Keep it a surprise.
You have to
Okay.
you have to follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, to find out
out.
more.
Excellent.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Taylor. Definitely grab one of these hats. Spread the love, spread the good word. I know I'm going to be, so I'm looking for you guys to be wearing them too.
All right. So we're going to buzz off. We'll see you later.
Bye.